Hello, so welcome back to another update vlog for the little gaming collection I got going on. In my previous video, I talked about my plans on expanding how much space I've actually got to put the games. I talked about putting a bookcase here, but as you might be able to tell on this side, I've ended up putting a little shelf in, so we'll get into that in a second. I do also have some games that I've picked up. I got that shelf put in place and then immediately realised I have like no games basically. I have more space now, but no games. So I'll go through what's changed with the shelf quick, and then we'll go back and look at these games I've picked up. So in the last video, I was talking about different ways for me to fit more games on the shelf behind me. Obviously, I mentioned that I got this Ivar unit from IKEA for the depth, for the CRT, things like that. But there wasn't a great way to fit games on them. But I think I've got the solution that's kind of in between what I was talking about before. So I'm going to go through that now. Right, switching up the angle for this, I've got myself a little tripod, like handheld thing, so hopefully I don't fat thumb the microphone like I did in the last video. So as I mentioned in my last update video, where all the games were kind of stacked on top of each other here, I was going to build this kind of like half shelf, but I thought it doesn't really make sense. I'm better off just putting another shelf in and then doing this, which I'll get to in a second. So the main change that had to happen to facilitate this is the amp that was here. It was like a 3-stack. I've moved the amp down to the bottom. The cables are still a mess behind there. That's another project. But the amp is one of those things that once it's turned on, you're kind of, you're going. You don't need to access it that much. I do also have a controller for it. It's a bit crusty. This is from like the late 90s. But I have a controller for it anyway, so it doesn't really need to be accessible. Everything's plugged in at the back anyway, and you're just switching inputs and volume. So I think really that being on the bottom is fine. So that freed up space to put another shelf in here, which I went to the land of yellow and blue to pick up another shelf. And that is actually perfectly sized. So the gap between this shelf, and this shelf is all identical. Right now I've got some CDs. You know it. You got the Taylor Swift box. Yeah. You know. This might still change, but I wanted access to the CD player and the cassette player because I tend to listen to an album while I'm playing a game. So I want to be able to switch them out rather than, because if I move them to the bottom, it's just going to be annoying to switch out. But the main thing, the biggest part, is that I have more room for games. So I do realise that looking at it like this, now it feels like I don't have any games at all and I just want to fill out the whole thing. So we'll get to that. But I think already it looks better. So it's going to be the same, the top and the bottom rows. This Bob, I like Bob personally. It's the first game I remember playing as a kid. But this is just a placeholder. I just wanted to see what it looked like. But it's nice that I can have some displays. The Funko Pops and stuff, that's all going to move. It's just, I put it there for the time being. But the main reason I wanted to go for this shift upwards is because if I come around the corner again, so if you look at it from this side, you have these beams that connect the supports. Obviously you can't take them out or the whole thing will crumble. But where I had my shelf before, you wouldn't have been able to put games here because it's beams here. So with the new placement, you can wrap around the side. Obviously I've kind of started doing that. There's two options. I'm not really sure what I want to go for here. You can either have the game displayed on the front and then you can start the row from here, or if the games go all the way to the end here, if they come all the way across, then obviously on the side you need to start over. So it's a mix. There is one slight annoyance, although I don't think it really matters, which is that the top shelf, the top shelf here, this bit comes down lower than the front, if you can see that. This bit here doesn't come down as far. So I can't fit PS2 games up here, but PlayStation 1, and I have seriously been thinking about getting a PlayStation 3. So those games should fit there just fine. Oh, bloody hell, crashing everything now. Right, that's back in place. So the main goal now is to, I think the top and bottom are pretty much just going to be PS2. There's a lot of PS2 games that I still want, a few of the series that I want to get the full set for. So Top and Bomb's almost definitely going to be all PS2, and then round the side is going to be Mega Drive, GameCube. There's a lot less games that I want. Also, with picking up at things like this, where it's as I talked about in my last video, it's the Zelda and, oh, if you'll focus, come on, boy. It's like, let me, looking out for the combo games where it's like the Zelda collection and Double Dash in one. Things like that really help to reduce how much space on the Mega Drive as well. Things like the Mickey Mouse dual set. I've also got the collection. So GameCube and Mega Drive just are going to be a smaller set. So hopefully that's going to mostly fit here. PlayStation 1, there is quite a few PlayStation 1 games I want, so I can go at the top. I do also have the other side as well. That might just be kind of for backup. So now I've actually made that space and I can put more games in. I need to go and get some now. There's a couple of games that have been on my list. I need to get Jak 3. I completed Jak and Daxter and Jak 2, but the third one I've not got yet. I need to pick up the rest of the Devil May Cry games as well. I'm actually on the last 2 missions, the final bosses for Devil May Cry 1. So I need to pick up the second one, even though I know a lot of people say second one's kind of potentially worth skipping. It was the one that I remember the most from my childhood, so I'm going to pick it up anyway, just play it in order. If I don't like it that much, I'll just put it down, whatever. And then DMC3, I'm going to go for the special edition. I think just in general, it's just the better one to go for, but I've never seen the special edition in a shop before, so that might be a bit tricky to track down. It is in the middle of the week at the moment, and I'm not going to be able to get away to do a hunt for some games, so now we just need to sit idly behind and wait for the weekend to come before I can get out again. Alright, so into the game pickups. I did mention before, I think in that previous clip, I filmed them different days apart, so I can't remember exactly what I said. But I mentioned one of the main things I'm looking for at the moment is Devil May Cry 2. I'm just about to complete Devil May Cry 1. I'm like waiting to do the final boss so that I can go straight into the second one. When I went to do my games like pickup this week, I popped into my local CEX and they actually had a copy of Devil May Cry 2 for sale. I saw it online before I went, so I knew it was going to be there, but I just wanted to check the condition. Not that I'm hugely fussed about condition, I just wanted to have a quick look. It's not that rare of a game, so I'd rather get a good condition one if I can. I popped in there. I didn't take a picture because it was pouring down with rain. I just wasn't thinking about... I was too wet in my raincoat to get my phone out, so I wasn't thinking. But I saw it there on the shelf facing me. Like, right, imagine this is Devil May Cry 2. I saw it there face on, just like this. And just like this copy, it looked pretty clean. It looked nice. I was like, yes, perfect. I'll pick that up. I picked it up. I took a look at the spine and... wow. I mean, I should have taken a picture. I've seen some like gross spines before, but this was so yellow. It was like disguised as a Mega Drive EA yellow. In fact, back to the shelf. It was disguising as a Mega Drive EA yellow spine. It was grim. I mean, genuinely that vibrant of a yellow. Like, that's what we're talking about. This white was that colour yellow. It was disgusting. It was not worth picking up for a game that just isn't even that rare. So as you can probably guess, I've not picked that up. So the first game I picked up in the pile is Summoner. I don't know too much about this game, but I did have it when I was a kid. I think it was one that we rented from Blockbuster. I don't think we actually owned it. It was one that ended up having to go back. And I think at the time, I remember playing it and thinking, oh, this looks really cool. It's like open world RPG. But I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. And I just could not get my head around it. Looking at the reviews, it looks like people who, if you spend the time to get into it, it's really good. But it's got quite a high barrier to entry. So we'll see. I remember really liking it. So hopefully now I understand what's going on, I'll get more joy out of it. The next game, also a game I had when I was a kid, is Shadow of Rome. Now, again, I think we did own this one. It wasn't a rental. I remember really enjoying it. The missions where you play as the... What would you call it? Well, the missions when you're in the Colosseum fighting as a gladiator. That's it, gladiator. I couldn't think of the word. So it's about like a Roman soldier who's fallen from grace. I think he gets betrayed, something like that. And then he ends up being a gladiator fighting for your freedom, I assume. I don't think I actually ever made it to the end. But there's missions... Oh, you can see him on the back. There's missions that you fight as this guy. So there's missions where you fight as this guy, as the gladiator. Then there's these stealth missions where you play as this blonde dude here. And I just remember as a kid... Oh, focus. Come on. Come back to me, boy. There we go. I just remember as a kid just hating those stealth missions. I just had no patience for them. Maybe they were just bad, or it was just me. But hopefully going back to that again, get through the stealth missions, have some fun as a gladiator. I did also get a GameCube game. I said in my last video that GameCube is kind of the main focus at the moment, just because I don't really have any GameCube games. I found a copy of Rogue Squadron. I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan in general in terms of the movies, but Battlefront 2 is a game I've got loads of... Well, Battlefront 1 and 2 is a game I've got loads of memories about. I know the first one in this series, because this is Rogue Squadron 2, the first one in the series is on N64. Obviously, I don't have an N64. I've never played that one. But I've heard good things about it. I'll give it a go. I'm going in pretty much blind. I've just heard that it's good. I don't know anything else more than that. And the biggest game I found was Ratchet and Clank, the first one. Now, this is actually quite a nice copy. We'll see if we can get a close-up going. It's in pretty good condition. There's a few scuffs, but that's just on the plastic. It's not on the sleeve itself. In fact, that'll probably come out, actually, looking at it. But this one looks good. It's, yeah, I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game. It was just one of those series that I just didn't ever have as a kid. I had Jak and Daxter. And well, that's it really. In terms of 3D platformers, I had Jak and Daxter. Never played a Ratchet and Clank. Once I've done Jak 3, which is another game. No, yes, Jak 3, which is another game I'm trying to look for alongside Devil May Cry 2, but I just cannot find it anywhere. Well, in person anyway. Once I'm done with the Jak and Daxter series, although I might play what's the racing game? Jak X? I don't know if that's actually part of the story. Maybe I'll do all of them, then I'll move over to Ratchet and Clank. So they're the pickups from this week. Obviously, as you would have seen in that clip before, I have in this side. I'm not used to this. I have an entire shelf now, and that bit on the side that can store games. So it's going to be more. I'm still thinking about getting a new console. I don't know what it's going to be. Somewhere between a PS3 and a Wii U. That's just what I'm thinking. Every day I'm looking. Also a Sega Saturn. Well, I don't know why I'm obsessed with the Sega Saturn. One day I'll own one. Anyway, that's enough rambling for this video. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to try... So this one should have come out 2 weeks after the last vlog. I'm just going to try and keep that cadence up just every 2 weeks for now. Maybe it'll start pacing a bit quicker. Yeah. Anyway, peace out.